The Cleveland Cavaliers have made a shocking signing and have acquired the former lottery pick from the Brooklyn Nets via a trade, a G League trade specifically, to add depth at the guard position. This player has been very, very controversial for the Pistons and the Nets, specifically more the Pistons, after being drafted in the top 10 and in a lottery position. This player did not really meet expectations, and the Cleveland Cavaliers have acquired this player via a G League trade, and it was reported, and I was like, oh, and I wasn't available quite when the time happened, but you guys are seeing this under 24 hours when it happened. So that's why you should go ahead and hit the subscribe button, because we cover all reports here from the Cavaliers. We also cover rumors, players that are linked with the Cavaliers, injury details, injury updates, pre-game thoughts, post-game thoughts, everything like that. We cover so much here on Cavs Digest, and that's why you should subscribe, because the Thomas Bryant deal comes out at around 2 p.m. on September 23rd, and then this comes out around 4 p.m. on September 23rd. Of course, I couldn't get to it. I was a little bit busy on the Tuesday night, last Tuesday night when this came out, but now I am here trying to get this out for you guys, and I really, really appreciate all the support on that last Thomas Bryant video. The Cleveland Cavaliers are making moves, and this one came right after Thomas Bryant. It seems like Koby Altman just wanted to get active on a Monday, Tuesday, whatever. So here we are. So the Cleveland Cavaliers have acquired and the Cavs and Killian Hayes have agreed to a deal that's what I want to do. Have acquired Killian Hayes, excuse me, guys, stay with me, via Mike Escato. This deal, I was diving into it a little bit because on the surface, like on its face, I was looking into this deal and I was like, oh, the Cleveland Cavaliers signed Killian Hayes. And I was like, okay, I do not care. I don't even want to make a video on this because I think Killian Hayes is awful. But let me break something down for you guys here, okay? There's a couple things. First of all, this was actually a G League trade. The Cleveland Cavaliers traded like G League picks to the Brooklyn Nets or to the Nets G League team to acquire Killian Hayes. And if you guys don't know about Killian Hayes, well, you're about to learn a lot. As I said, this guy was controversial because this is one of the most memed about and joked and laughed about NBA players I've ever seen in my life. And I'm going to talk about his negatives first. Then we're going to go into his positive, try to be optimistic, but let's go into his stats real quick. Just kind of get that out of the way. 9 points in 27 minutes on 41% for the field, 38% from three. You guys want to know something on the bench depth-wise? That's actually kind of good with 5 assists, 3 rebounds. This is actually kind of decent statistically, and he actually improved a lot, and I'll be honest with you guys. I think Killian Hayes improved a lot from his stint in Detroit. I think he looked a little bit better on Brooklyn last year, and I think that there is more upside to him now on Brooklyn than there was to him in Detroit. And I think that there could be a potential here because he's just a crafty guard. But let's kind of, what do we want to do? Let's talk about his positives first. Let's keep you guys here. Let's talk about his positives. Overall, Killian Hayes is what I like to describe as a deep bag that can't execute. Like $1 million move, $0 finish, stuff like that. That's what Killian Hayes do. If you would watch him play basketball but not watch the shot itself, you would probably think that this guy's the lefty Kyrie Irving. He is extremely flashy, and his ability to create a shot is unbelievable. Of course, the flash can only go so a long way, but he's a pretty talented player. I mean, he's athletic, he's crafty, and he can create shots. He has a good finishing techniques, a good layup package. And his favorite shot is the pull-up mid-range. He loves to do a double move into a pull-up mid-range, and that's his favorite shot. You kind of saw some there as he hit a pull-up mid-range and then shot a stupid mid-range and made it. But that's one of his favorite shots that he's always looked to attack. So you kind of got to see the good about Killian Hayes. You got to see what he's able to do. As I said, if you were to watch a highlight reel of Killian Hayes, you would think he's a lefty Kyrie. He's super flashy. He's super willing to create a shot. He always feels like he's open because that's how he shoots. He kind of just like, yeah, you know what? You cannot guard me. And he's a very, very impressive player to watch until you watch him shoot the ball. So as I said, this player is controversial. He was a former lottery pick. This was the draft board. I'm going to show you it here. If you kind of see closely, it was LaMelo Ball. It was kind of a trash draft class. I wouldn't say trash, actually, but he was drafted before Tyrese Halliburton, and that's why people call out the Pistons for this pick, because they could have had Tyrese Halliburton. But Devin Vassell is better than him. Halliburton's better than him. To be honest, Kerry Lewis is better than him. Aaron Naismith, who just went to the finals, is definitely better than Killian Hayes. Obi Toppin's better. Denny's better. Jalen Smith's better. They're all better. Everyone's better. Everyone before him and after him is better. Killian Hayes ended up being really, really bad, and that's why I say it's controversial. That's why I said this is a shocking move, because I'm kind of surprised to see the Cavs care about giving a guy like Killian Hayes a chance or wanting to make G League trades for this guy. Because let's be real, okay? This guy is hot trash. I'm going to show you this graphic here. Killian Hayes over the last 2 games, generationally, but 6 points, 2 for 21 field goals, 0 for 9 for 3, and 6 turnovers. I don't know when this time period was. I think it was like 2023 or something. That's just an embarrassing stat line. That is just embarrassing. And you could probably find a 2-game stretch of players being bad. And I'm not using this against them, but guys, this was a real thing. All of the hater pages, Hater Central, NBA Centel, and actually when I saw this news, I thought this was NBA Centel at first when I saw NBA Central post it. But whatever. But here's the full detail. I probably should show this earlier, so my apologies to that. But on Tuesday afternoon, Long Island Nets traded returning player rights for Killian Hayes to the Cleveland Charge in exchange for a first and a second-round pick of the 2026 NBA G League Draft. Hayes was a pivotal member of the Long Island roster in the 2024-25 season, and now his path back to the NBA finds itself in his next stop, Cleveland. The trade was needed before Hayes was signed to a 2-way or Exhibit 10. So that's kind of just the trade details. And now we can kind of dive into Mr. Killian Hayes and why he's really, really bad. So let's talk about his negatives here. So, first of all, this guy cannot make a shot. At least in Detroit specifically, this guy was the most hilarious player to watch. He was so unserious. He was airballing. It wasn't like this guy was just like getting a good look and then just missing some shots. It wasn't like he was just out of rhythm when it came to shot making. This guy would airball, brick, throw a turnover. He would do some of the dumbest things. Do you guys know that person, if you go to a rec center or play street ball and you see that guy that's looks like he's really good because he could show you some cool dribble moves, and then every time he shoots, you're like, yeah, we want to leave him open. That's essentially Killian Hayes. He's just like that guy that's like, oh yeah, you can't guard me, and then misses every shot. That's literally what Killian Hayes is. I've been that guy before, to be honest, and I've seen that guy before. Killian Hayes is one of the most hilarious NBA players I've ever got to watch play basketball. And I'm very, very appreciative of him. And that's why seeing him on the Cavs was actually quite funny. I was really, really busy at the time it happened, but seeing it happen, I was like, wow. Killian Hayes is a Cleveland Cavalier, and I thought that we were a joke. But, of course, it came after Thomas Bryant, and it is a G League deal. So now, while our last minute and a half, let's talk about what to expect from Killian Hayes. So I want to show Craig Porter real quick, because Craig Porter is going to be higher on the depth chart for a while compared to Killian Hayes. I don't think Killian Hayes is going to be any better than or is going to be any worse. But this is what Hoopstromers Dana Gruder wanted to say about Killian Hayes. Still, Hayes is just 24 years old and played well in a very small sample with Brooklyn last season. 9 points, 5.2 assists, and 3 rebounds. I showed you guys the stats. In 27 minutes per game, making 38.1% of his 3-point tries in 6 appearances. The 6'5 Frenchman spent most of his 2024-25 playing for the Long Island Nets in G League, where he put up a lot of points, was 17.3, 7.4 assists, and 5.4 rebounds on 46 37 and 68.9, shooting in 33 outings. Hayes is no longer eligible for a 2-way contract, so if he hopes to make an NBA roster this fall, he'd have to do it by earning a standard 50-minute spot. So honestly, again, I've said a lot of bad about Killian Hayes in the last little bit, but as I said, I think him and Craig Porter are actually going to compete, because some people say Craig Porter is like a hidden gem in the NBA, guys. I think he's a less brick Killian Hayes, but I think Killian Hayes probably has more upside than Craig Porter, low-key, because he's bigger. I don't know. They're pretty similar, but I think Craig Porter is pretty safe. So don't expect Killian Hayes to take Craig Porter's spot. But if it happens, just know I wouldn't be surprised, because I don't think Craig Porter is as good as you guys do. So, but also the main thing about Killian Hayes is that he was, of course, memed about it. I showed you his lowlights. He has some really bad lowlights, and he's been generationally made fun of for being a bust and for what he's done in the past with Brooklyn but mainly Detroit. But he's coming off of a solid season with Brooklyn with 9 points. He didn't play that much because he was in the G League, but when he played in the NBA, 27 minutes is high quality. You could put up 27 minutes with 9 points, 6 assists, 3 rebounds. You can't really complain about that. And he's also a big point guard, 6'5". You put him at the point guard position to play some defense. He could kind of be like a better offensive, worse defensive, worse playmaking Lonzo Ball at times. I'd be interested to see what Killian Hayes can bring to the main roster, if he can bring anything there, because I kind of don't expect him to play much. But that is it for me on this beautiful Wednesday midday for Cavs Digest. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Let me know what you guys think about this Cavs day, about the last 24 hours. Well, I guess when this move was happening, it was 4-hour span. But let me know what you guys think in the last 24 hours about the Cleveland Cavaliers moves. Comment on this video, like this video, share this video with your friends. And as always, thank you guys for joining me here on Cavs Digest.